Today's video I'm going to be doing a little project using a feature we created last night, Ghostwriter, aka Autocomplete, where when you're typing, it completes the code for you. So like say you're doing HTML, and then let's say you're going to do like a paragraph. So boom, P pops up, and then you would put hello, how are you today, boom. Alrighty, that's just an example. So we are going to do a project. So let's start off with doc type HTML. Alright, I'm going to get rid of this right here. Okay, so for title, we're going to put Bunker AI. Bam. Make sure my microphone's in. Okay, yeah, it's in there. Sweet. Alrighty, so we got doc type HTML. Let me close this out. I don't need this right here. Okay, we got the header, and we got title. Alright, and then now we're gonna have to put style, and then the body, and then we're gonna have to put in the button. So next, let's put in style. See how it completes it? Bam. Boom. I'm gonna move this up just a little bit. Alright, so in style, we are going to put body. So if you don't know what style is, that's CSS. That's what gives it all the cool like colors and features and stuff. Alright, so inside body, we are going to type in the background. So BACK, watch how it pops up. I don't have to type it all. So background, we are going to do, let's try this. Alright, so let's hit number. Alright, then we're going to do 0808. Alright. 1, 2, and then I think I need another 0. Alright, boom. Okay, then after background, we're going to put in the color. Bam. Alright, now for color, we're going to be using 00FFCC. Bam. I forgot to put the number sign in front of it. Bam. Alright, that came out good. Now after color, we're going to put in the font family. There it is. Boom. And then for font family, I'm going to be doing Arial Sans Serif. Arial, comma. Alright, let's see if it's already in here. Arial bold. Oh yeah, right here. Okay. And then after font family, we are going to be putting in the text align. Text align, and then we're going to want to center it. Boom. And then after text align, we're going to put in our padding. 60px. Padding, boom. Alright, 60px. Boom. Got it. Alright, so far so good. Alright, let me go from top to bottom, make sure everything looks good so far. We got the doc type HTML. Alright, everything looks good. Bunker AI. Okay, so after body, we're going to type in H1. There it is. Boom. And then for H1, we are going to hit that. Boom. And then in the middle of H1, we're going to put in color and then font size and all that stuff. So color, and the color is going to be FF00FF. Boom, there it is. Looks good. Alright, then after color, we're going to put in text shadow. Alright, let's see if we can find text shadow. I think I just saw it. It's in here, but it's already popping up for me. So I'll put in dash. There it is. Boom, text shadow. And then we're going to want to put 0020px. px. And then we're going to have to give it number FF00FF. Alright, let's see if I did that right. Alright, so 20px number. Alright, FF. Alright, let's just delete this. And then I gotta put the number back. Okay. Then after text shadow, we're going to put font size. Font size, let's go with 50px. Okay. So far so good. Alright. Alright, everything's looking good so far. We got our padding, our font family. Alright. So on to the next one. Box. Okay. And then inside the box, we're going to want alright, font size, and then the margin. Font size, and then we're going to put that to 60ps. Alright, then we're going to do margin. There it is. And then we're going to do 30px. Bam. Okay, and the next is color. Look, I just type in COL and then color pops up. And then let's do okay. Let's just do that one since it popped up on its own. shadow. Alright, let's go back here. Alright, there's text shadow. Sweet. Alright, and then we're going to do 0020px. And then it should pop up. Let's do the number. So 00FF CC. Sweet, so far so good. Alright, everything's looking good. We got our style, our body, H1. Alright, then we got the box. That's where the button's gonna go, obviously, inside the box. Okay, then after box, we're gonna want to create our... Alright, yeah, we're gonna want to create the cool one. We're gonna create the button. Alright, there it is. Sweet. Alright, now we're going to give our button some style. Alright, the background. Alright, let's type in background. Background. Boom. So far, so good. Bam. Alright, then after background, we're going to want to do our color. Alright, pops up. Let's go with white. Sweet. Alright, border. We don't need a border, but I'm going to put it in anyways. Let's put none. Sweet, it popped up already. Alright, then after border, we're going to want to put our padding again. So 1845. 18px 45px. Wabam. Okay. And then after padding, we're going to want to put our font size again. And then we'll do that at... Alright, font size. Let's go with 22px. Looks good to me. Alright, then next we're going to do our border radius. Alright, border. Alright, there it is, border radius. And then let's go with 10px. Bam. Moving along. Look at all this code. Alright, so we're down to what? Border radius. So after border radius, we're going to go with... let's go with... Let's see if that pops up. There it is. Alright, and then we're going to want it to point. So let's go with pointer. See if, yep, there it is. Sweet, moving along. Alright, then now we need a box shadow. Alright, so BOX box shadow. Sweet. And then we're going to have that at 0025px. Boom. Looking good. Alright, let's see what else is left for button. Alright, then now we just need our margin. MAR. Let's go with 10px. Bam. Alright, that looks good for the button. Alright, then we're going to have to do our button hover. So that's our next one, button hover. hover, whatever you want to call it. Button dash. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Button hover. Where is hubble? I'll find it. Alright, button. Okay. Button hover. Sweet. Alright, that looks good so far. Button hover. Alright. Alright, now inside button hover, we're gonna put our background and then our box shadow. Alright, so now let's put our background. Pops up. Alright. Let's give it that. Alright, then now let's go with our box shadow. Box shadow. Let's go with 0025px. Alright. Now hit the number. Alright. Sweet, so far so good. Alright, we got that, we got that. I'm just reviewing it. Okay, now what's after this button hover? Alright, so now then in the body, we're going to want to put... Alright, we got everything, style, head. Alright, in the body, we're going to put H1. Boom. We're going to put... engineering with Javy. Looking good, looking good. Alright, then we're going to want to give it a div class. So go here, div, div. Alright, then inside the div, we're going to want to put ID and then box. Alright, sweet. It used the parentheses for me, so that's good. Then now we're going to have to close out the div. So let's close it out. Sweet, close it out for me. See how fast that is. And then now we're going to have to do the button on click. Button on... Okay. Let's just go over here. Button on click. Okay, so we got button on click. Sweet. Then now we're gonna have to, alright, have it add one. On click equals add. You see how that's cool? It does just not doing it all for me, but it's saving me time, that's for sure. And then okay. Boom. Alright, then after that we're gonna need +1, and then we're gonna close out button. Boom. just moving too fast. Alright, let's make sure that's good. Button on click add. Alright, let's see how it looks so far. Alright, our body looks good. Our style, our head. Button on click. Let's make sure that's good. +1. Alright, sweet. The next, we're going to do another button to reset. So, button on click again. Reset. Button. Sweet. There it is. And then we're going to have to hit reset. Reset. Boom. Looking good. Alrighty. Reset. Sweet. There it is. Alright, then now we're going to have to close out the button. So let's take a look at that. I forgot to close this out. Created another one. Let me get rid of it. Okay. And then we're going to have to close this out. Boom. Okay. Alright, we got reset, reset. Alright, then now we need to close out button. Alright. Boom. Alright, what's next on the menu? Alright, after button, we should have our script. Okay, script's there. Alright, script, and then we're gonna have to put in our functions. Alright, so yeah, now this is where JavaScript comes in. Alright, so SCR script. Boom. Alright, sweet, did it for me. And then script. Alright. Alright, let's see if it does it for me. Count. Let count. Alright, count, let it equal 0. Equal 0. Probably gonna have to, yeah, close that out. Boom. Alright, then what's next after script? Alright, count plus plus. Let's see if it adds it for me. Alright, plus plus. Alright, close it out. Alright, let me see if I remember this one. Document.get element. Alright, document dot get. Alright, it's right there, but I'm gonna make sure I'm doing the right one. Alright, document dot get element. Element by ID. Alright, by element by alright, element sure everything's good so far. I'm not trying to rush it. Document.get element by ID. Okay. Boom. Boom. Box. Okay. Then we're gonna need a dot right here. Inner. Sweet. There it is. I don't have to type it. Okay. Inner text equals count. Let's see if it pops up. Yeah, it did pop up. Sweet. Alright. Okay, we got that. We got that. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna have to fix some of these. Alright, I'll fix those at the end. So after this, document. Alright. Alright, I'm just making sure everything's good so far. Okay. Alright, so here I have to put function. Don't need all that, but I'm going to delete some of it. Function add. There we go. Function add. Let's make sure that looks good. Function add. Okay. Boom. Document. Sweet. So then, alright, let's put this over here. Let's bring these up a little bit. Alright, and then I'm gonna have to close this out with that. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, almost done. So now we're gonna have to do a function reset and then count, and then we're gonna have to do document again. So function reset after this right here. Function reset. Sweet. Alright. Boom. Alright, then now we're gonna have to do another one of these. And then we are basically done. Just two more sentences. Count equals 0. And then I can basically just copy and paste the last one. So count equals 0. 0. Alright, boom. Boom. Alright, now pretty sure I can just copy and paste this right here. Copy. Alright. Bam. Alright, now let me look at let me audit the code to make sure everything looks good. Alright. Okay, let's go from top to bottom. Alright, we got our doc type HTML. That looks good. HTML. Then we have our head. Then we have our title, Bunker AI. Okay, that's closed out. Then we have style, body, our background. Okay, then we have our color, our font family, Arial. Okay, and then we have text align center, our padding. Okay, then we have that. Then we have our H1, our color, text shadow, font size, box. Okay, everything's looking good. Let me look at the button one more time. Button's looking good. Alright, button hover. hover, looks good. Okay. Alright, so head down, boom. Alright, should be good. Now let me save it. And then let's check it out. Give me 1 second. Alright, save. File, save. Okay. Bam. Oh, I almost messed up right there. Alright. Let me look at a couple more things, then I'm done. Reset. Reset. Alright. This needs to go inside of here. Okay. Alright, I got rid of the air. So now let me save it again. And then we should have a button where you can hover over it. I know I just saved, but let's do it again. Boom. There it is. Engineering with Javy. Bam, bam, bam. Alright, let's see if we can reset it. Boom, reset. Sweet. Alright, you guys. Once again, this is my Ghost Rider. As you can see, I typed all that. Well, I didn't type all of it. I typed most of it. And then also, obviously, you've seen it do CSS and some JavaScript. It could also do Python, C++, you name it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And then once again, this was our new feature, Ghostwriter in Bunker, my code editor. And then it is offline mode, and you can also do online mode. But yeah. So let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, and I hope you guys like it.